Joined by ALEC board member, Oklahoma Senate Majority Floor Leader Julie Daniels. Leader Daniels, Oklahoma did beat LSU this weekend, but I really don't think they're a top 12 team. I don't think they get into the class.
Well, as a Boomer Sooner graduate and fan, I would have to disagree. But I would say this: we are hard to kill.
They're actually going to get a bid, don't you think?
Oh, yes, I do think so.
Yeah,
I
just
be
wanted to pull your chain a little bit because you have too much to brag about. So I just wanted to make sure you realize that the real OSU is in my state, Ohio, not your Cowboys. You did have an amazing session. Tell people what Oklahoma got done because they ought to hear what a state can do when it puts its mind to it.
Well, fortunately, with friends like ALEC behind you and a good number of great Senate and Republican colleagues, House colleagues, we managed to do the path to zero for income tax, along with another income tax reduction. And we'd already done corporate income tax reduction and franchise tax elimination and removal of the state grocery tax a year ago. So in the tax realm, we're doing very well.
Can we pause there for a second? California, I love California because their marginal income tax got up to 14.5%. Many people are leaving New York for the same reason. There are people listening to this in New York. How do you do zero income tax?
Well, eventually, we have a trigger. We will have a trigger, and if certain things happen, then it will automatically go down 0.25% the next year. But there are safeguards in there for the legislature to put a pause on it. It's more responsible than the one we tried a few years ago. So spent a lot of years figuring it out, and I think it's a conservative, and it will slowly go down over time.
Okay.
But our state is doing very well, so I'm certainly of the opinion we will see it drop sooner rather than later, and then there might be a pause for a while. But I'm very excited that we shouldn't have to argue about tax reduction anymore because we have the path. And we took it down 0.25%, so January this next year, it will be 4.5%, and we eliminated the bottom 3 tax brackets. We have 7 tax brackets in Oklahoma. We were catching people really with very limited income. So we took away the 3 bottom brackets, makes it easier for people, and maybe we can come back in and eliminate another one in the future.
Now, I don't want to put you in a tough spot. Young Mr. Keating is a friend of this program, so I'm going to hope he wins your governorship. But is that going to be, does it matter who wins when the legislature is so solid?
We're going to have a Republican governor. It's going to be great.
Okay, that's a good, what a politic answer. What else did you got? A REINS Act done. Tell people
we got
what
the
that
REINS
is.
Act done, and our sitting governor in the executive branch was a little reluctant about it. But, you know, this is where if the regulatory agency is going to pass a rule that will either cost $1 million or could impact the regulated industry or individual by $1 million, they have to submit special reports to the legislature so that we're aware of it. And we have to specifically approve or disprove that rule. And that is a reform that's come along with us understanding that our legislative oversight of the regulatory branch, of the swamp, is really very important and had been sort of ignored, or for the sake of time, we hadn't given it the attention it deserves. And we're doing that now, which is the reason that we also repealed the state version of the Chevron doctrine. Yep. You no longer will have the judiciary automatically deferring. They don't have to not defer. They just can't do it automatically.
I'm retired now, so I got no dog in this fight, but tort reform is a golden ticket to growth. Very few states get it done. How did you get tort reform done?
We haven't got it all done, but first we got it done by having it fail for a number of years, keeping the good ideas going, waiting for the right combination of a new speaker and a new pro tem who wanted to embrace these reforms. The biggest thing we did was to overturn a 2019 Oklahoma Supreme Court decision that got rid of the cap on non-economic damages, which the Republicans struggled for 100 years to gain a majority in the legislature, and this was one of the key reforms that were passed in the last 15 years. So to watch our court chip away at some of these reforms, workers' comp was another one, was really sad for those of us who came behind the people who fought to get that majority. How do you get your
justices in Oklahoma?
We use that commission system.
Oh, that's a terrible, okay, now I understand.
But one of the reasons we got this done is for the first time in state history, we unseated a Supreme Court justice. We failed to retain them. And that has had a repercussion throughout the policy debate since in the way the court addresses things. Of course, Governor Stitz had the opportunity to make some conservative appointments in his 8 years. So we got that cap on non-economic damages back, and just a year ago, the Supreme Court had rather undercut our workers' compensation reforms. Trial lawyers still do carry a lot of weight in our state, and so those folks are still around, and they're needed too. So we were able to come back and protect our indemnity statutes and make sure that contractors and subcontractors can contract to take on responsibility and risk for each other. Just put another good piece back in our workers' comp legislation.
I want to give Oklahoma a shout out because we've got a lot of listeners in the Sooner State. ALEC named Oklahoma the best state for essential policy solutions for 2026. So you're a big-time ALEC person, so that's got to make you pretty happy.
Oh, absolutely.
You finally beat Utah.
ALEC member forever. The other one we did was price transparency for medical bills.
Oh.
I tried to get it passed several years ago. The Senate did it. The House didn't. This year it sailed through. 300 procedures will now be posted online. And if they don't comply, there might be some medical debt that we come along and say they can't collect. So again, even in health, we did something significant this year that we had talked about over the years, but you just needed the right people.
Like a knee replacement? You can shop by hospital for cost of a new knee?
Yes, sir. You just need them to post what they're charging you so that you can do some comparison, because we know in healthcare, consumers are
Who opposed that?
Well, a few years ago, some people in the House, but obviously this year, those folks had either got religion or they had been replaced, so it went through fairly easily, I think, this time.
Okay, we got a minute, Majority Leader. What's left to do?
There's still more tort reform to do.
Okay.
There is still more we can do in the regulatory space. We do have some issues with mental health care in Oklahoma, as we do in other states. We need to address those. So there are certain places within government that we may want to put more resources. Big focus next year on literacy. Very quickly, some 20 years ago, Mississippi and Oklahoma passed identical legislation to bring up literacy rates. We slowly chipped away at it. The unions had a lot to do with that. Mississippi stuck with it. They went from the 40s up to like number 4, number 7. Guess who's in the 40s? Oklahoma. If we had stuck with it, we would be there today. So it's going to be a huge push by our state chamber, who are so excited about the business initiatives we did, but workforce and being able to have people
Literacy
come
matters
in who can read and understand is critically important to our state. So that will be a focus for the legislature, the executive branch, the state chamber, and lots of our think tank friends like ALEC. We'll be working on that together next year.
Leader Daniels, I look forward to the update next year. Thank you for joining me.
And Boomer Sooner, Hugh.
All right, we'll see about that when they run into the real OSU.